everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking to Sara Dosa, the co-writer and director of Fire of Love, which is a hot new documentary that follows two volcanologists in the pursuit of their own love and their field that they love. We're going to talk to her right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Sara Dosa, the director and co-writer of Fire of Love, which is coming to theaters on July 22nd, 2022. It is a fascinating documentary about two lovers who, pursued their own love and their love of this field, and in the process made some amazing videos, and also essentially changed the field of volcanology. I think I said that right. I think it's volcanology. And it is just a fascinating story. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. So I guess the first question, like, how did you get involved in this? Like, did a giant trunk of footage just like arrive on your doorstep? Like, how did you get involved in the story?
Oh, I would have loved that. But yeah, I first learned about Katia and Maurice Krafft actually when I was researching for the last film I directed, which is an observational documentary called The Seer and the Unseen. That film is, we like to call it a magically real documentary that tells the story of an Icelandic woman who is in communications with spirits of nature in Iceland, which is something that is very accepted culturally there. We wanted some footage of archival imagery of volcanoes erupting in Iceland to tell one part of that story. And so once we started researching, we came across these delightful French volcanologists who had beautifully filmed Iceland's erupting volcanoes in the 70s. Their images were unlike anything we had seen, but it was once we really learned about them as characters, that they were in love with each other and volcanoes, that they were so playful and idiosyncratic and philosophical. That's when we thought, okay, they would make wonderful subjects for a documentary.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a unique area, and some of the footage that they came up with is just, it's insane to see. Like, I'm sure I've seen it on nature documentaries, but I've never seen such an amount of footage kind of cataloged in one place and in so many different interesting ways.
Yeah, it's really extraordinary, the breadth and depth of their work. They spent 20 years roaming the planet with cameras, getting as close as humanly possible to erupting volcanoes as they could, not just driven by scientific inquiry, because of course what they filmed was scientific data. They were capturing this fleeting phenomenon to posterity forever to be studied. But it was also what gave them the most meaning in life. It fueled their love, their adventure. They really were living their own life philosophies by pursuing volcanoes in this way. So I feel like you can really sense that love and joy behind their imagery too.
No, it definitely comes through. I guess my other question is, like, so this film kind of touches on a lot, right? It introduces volcanoes to a lot of people and kind of the science there, but it also really looks into kind of their relationship. And also, I really liked kind of how the pursuit of their love of volcanoes affected their own relationship, both positively and negatively. So how did you kind of map out, what story you wanted to tell, or did you just kind of let their footage kind of tell the story as you went through their journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, we really believed that you could probably tell 100 stories about Katia and Maurice because their legacy is just that expansive. But we were we wanted to be guided by them first and foremost at every turn, which was challenging since they passed away 30 years ago, which is something we reveal very early in the film. So it's not a spoiler. But it was really important to listen to them first and foremost. And one thing that kept emerging as such a priority for them was love for each other and for volcanoes. Maurice wrote one sentence in one of his many books where he says, "For me, Katia and volcanoes, it is a love story." And for our team, we thought, wow, Maurice is describing a love triangle, like there's three characters here who form a triangular relationship. And if we use that as a framework for telling their story, it'll feel the most kind of like the higher truth of them. We'll learn about their idiosyncratic relationship. And also we'll have to learn the character of the volcano, which is myriad and complex and unclassifiable, especially according to Katia and Maurice. But in doing so, you can also learn a lot about the mysteries of not just the planet, but also the human heart. So that was really what we were going for, was trying to layer kind of these ideas of love, the earth, science, and what it means to be human, and in a relationship with one another, kind of using their footage and their words as the primary guide for the film.
For sure, for sure. This is one of those films where, or this is one of those scenarios where it's like, yeah, there's definitely a soulmate for they are each other's soulmates. I feel like there is like one unique person that kind of perfectly complements each other, and this is one of those stories. So I know we have very limited time, so I'd like to switch. I call it the lightning round. It's just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal
Sure.
experiences map to the film. You can feel free not
Yeah.
to answer any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Great.
First question, like Katia and Maurice, do you consider yourself a thrill seeker?
Oh, yes.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. We're off with a bang. Have you ever seen like an active volcano?
Yes, when we
Oh,
were
wow.
editing the film, we did a edit retreat in Iceland, and we went to be inspired by one of the erupting volcanoes. Here, I'm actually in Iceland right now.
That is awesome. Have some. I always love like Icelandic food. Like have some. What is it? Fermented shark or something like that. That they.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Have
Carl,
some.
yeah. Delicious.
So for that or any other time, have you had to wear like that full on flame suit?
Oh no, I want to wear the aluminized suit so badly. I haven't yet. When we saw the erupting volcano, we were definitely in a safe distance. But I hope one day to get to wear a suit myself.
So you're more of a thrill seeker than me, but not as much of a thrill seeker as Katia Maurice. I'll put you in that spectrum.
Yes, that is very fair to say.
Have you ever made a science fair volcano?
I think I did actually. That's a great question. I think when I was little, maybe not for a science fair, but definitely as like a home fun science project. My parents always had us doing fun kind of homemade projects, and I'm sure I must have. Yeah, but yeah, I'll have to again. I've got some really adorable nephews and a niece, and that are, I think we love to do that right now.
That is kind of the quintessential science fair project, right? Like there's
Totally.
always one, right?
Yep, absolutely.
What is the worst that you've burned yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. The first film I ever directed, it's called The Last Season. It's a story about mushroom hunters and who come together for a seasonal mushroom hunt in the woods of Oregon. And everyone kind of lives in this makeshift camp in the mushroom hunting community. And there's kind of a lot of campfires, and a lot of the campfires are made from kind of tin cylinders. And I've placed my wrist by accidentally on top of one of the tin cylinders and have kind of a nasty scar from it. But it ended up becoming a bonding moment with some of the people in the community. So worked out.
and a bonding moment with that aluminum cylinder as your skin like bonded to it.
Yeah, it was not fun. Yeah.
So if you have a partner or a soulmate, what is the strangest thing that you like to do together?
Oh wow, it's a complicated question. I'll say that.
You can feel free to pass on this one. This is.
I'll just say I learned a lot about love and the complexities of love over the course of the years while we were making this film.
There we go. What is the hottest place that you have visited?
Ooh, this place I've ever visited. This place I've ever visited. Probably the Philippines. I was there. Or Texas. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, I don't know if I have a good immediate answer for that.
Both of those are good answers. And the last question is, so what is the strangest profession that you like have wanted to pursue or maybe wanted to pursue growing up? And indie film documentary is a fairly strange profession, but is there a like more kind of out there profession that you wanted to pursue when you were growing up?
My dad teases me that when I was 5 in kindergarten, I apparently told everyone that I wanted to be a space artist, which meant that I wanted to float in outer space and draw pictures of the moon and the stars and the planets. So maybe making documentaries is similar to being a quote unquote space artist, but yeah, that's my childhood dream.
That is a fantastic childhood dream and also very forward looking, right? Like, I don't know, in like 15 or 20 years, that might be possible. So very prophetic.
Yeah, I hope little kindergartners can go in space and paint pictures. So.
I love when you have like thoughts without any sort of like inhibitions, right? It's always fun to just say, like, let your imagination go, see what you think.
Yep, the wonderment of children's minds. Yeah.
So the film is out July 22nd, 2022, which is today. Hopefully I will get this up today, but if not, it's out July 22nd, 2022. You're out promoting the film, trying to get the word out. I imagine there are many more stories that you want to tell, maybe some that you learned from this filming itself. So after people see Fire of Love, what can they look for from you next?
That's a great question. Nothing immediate at the moment, but I'm definitely inspired by what I learned in Fire of Love. So whether it'll be volcanoes or maybe I'll turn to my kindergarten passion and be a space artist in some form.
Yeah, either one. I mean, I'm trying to think of like another dangerous thing, like maybe like a couple that watches sharks. Like maybe that would be an interesting story. There probably is something like that.
Yeah, there must be them out there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so thank you so much for your time. This is Sara Dosa, the director and co-writer of Fire of Love, which is out in theaters on July 22nd, 2022. It is a fascinating documentary. It shows both, passion and eruption, both in love and in Volcano. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, David. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. That was Sara Dosa, the co-writer and director of Fire of Love, which comes to theaters on July 22nd, 2022. It has some amazing footage, some really, really just insane views of these, amazing, massive volcanoes. And it's something that has to be seen to be believed. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.